This is the Independent Dealer Podcast. Education by dealers for dealers. Now, here are your hosts, Luke Godwin and Jeff Watson.
Hello and welcome to the Independent Dealer Podcast, brought to you by Buckeye Dealership Consulting. Luke, have you ever built a car from scratch?
No, I feel like I have because I've taken cars apart and put them back together, but no.
Back together. Think about this. So let me run you through a little exercise, and everybody listening. Say you are trying to build a car from scratch, right? And I use car because we can all relate.
We're in the car business. We should be using a car, yes.
Yeah, you're going to pick a frame. You're going to pick an engine. You're going to pick a drivetrain. You're going to start putting together these systems, right? And as you start testing these systems and you're putting it on the track or you're putting it out in the hills, whatever the purpose of the systems are, you're kind of testing what's working and what's not working, right? And if you pair up a big block V8 with a little transmission you tore out of a Ford Escape, you're going to have some issues when you go lay on that pedal, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have a robust enough braking system, you're going to have some issues when you go to, hit the brakes. If you're not built aerodynamic, what's going to happen? When you do pair the right engine with the right transmission, you're going to reach a speed that the body just doesn't keep you on the road anymore, right?
Yeah.
So
Where are you going? Where are you going with this, Jeff?
The illustration I want to paint for you, Luke, is building a car and running into limitations in the components of that car is the exact same thing we run into with our dealerships, right?
Yeah.
We have built a machine, and sometimes, Luke, we may have put the wrong dang transmission in that machine and it can't handle the torque that we're throwing at it, right?
Yeah.
What happens in those situations?
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like I've put the wrong transmission into many of my business opportunities, and and I feel like every month I'm having to pull one transmission out and put the other transmission in. And what we're talking about, the way I refer to it, is whack-a-mole. That's the technical name for solving your business's problem. Yeah, it's whack-a-mole. And I think Tim Lawrence called it MAGA, MMAGA, I think. And wasn't that his acronym this past week?
Yeah. So Tim Lawrence, we were at Lease Here Pay Here Capital Summit, and Tim gave a great keynote on his take on what's called the theory of constraints, right? So in any system, like it's a car, a dealership, an electrical system, a water system, you may have one component of that system that is just not up to spec, right? It's not up to par. If you have a tiny, tiny little transmission and you're throwing too much torque at it, you're going to blow that thing out over and over and over, or it's going to prevent you from reaching your potential. And that's what he talked about with this, was when we have those bottlenecks, right? Those issues, that's going to restrict our dealership from getting to where it needs to be. And he had a great little acronym that the MMAGA.
It's map out where your issue is, maximize the dysfunctioning department, align the speed of other departments, grow or improve dysfunctioning department. Oh yeah, and assess again. And essentially, that's what we do every day. And we've talked about this, that when we get to a point where we're out of cars because our recon department isn't working well, then we don't sell as many cars as we should. Or if we have too many cars and too many sales and our collection department can't keep up, then we have a problem in collections. And so it's a constant chess match or checkers match, whatever you're playing. Some of us are playing, some of us, not me, are playing 3D chess. Yeah, I'm probably playing pick 'em up sticks or something to that effect. But yeah, I mean, it's so true though. We say this over and over, Jeff, that the business we run is about 6 businesses combined into one. New car stores, dude, if they need a car, they just order it, right? And so they've always got that inventory coming in. Well, we have to buy the inventory. We got to recon the inventory. Then we got to sell the inventory. Well, if you could just go to the used car factory and buy the cars you need ready to recon, then you cut 2 whole portions of your business out. And so if you can't keep up with the buying, if you can't keep up with the recon, then you don't have anything for sale. So it's a constant battle when you're in our business, and you have to maximize the departments. You got to fix the departments that are broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of them are very, very obvious, right? Like you mentioned some stuff about if your recon department isn't getting cars to the front line, like I think that's everyone's issue. That seems like a constant. I don't know if anyone has that fixed where their mechanics are standing around waiting for someone to buy a car to bring it to them. But there's also other areas, and that really dawned on me as well, is there's some that we don't know aren't maximized because we aren't giving them attention, right? Like if you're building a car and you don't realize that, your gear ratio is off, you might be not reaching your potential, but you don't even notice it, right? You're cruising along fine, no problem. But so I think, when you talk about many businesses, it's like our reinsurance companies, right? And that's the Buckeye plug for the week. It is a business inside of a business. Your reinsurance, your CPI, everything you run through your Buckeye company, it's literally a business. And people need to stop looking at it like it's just a window switch on a car. Like, no. This is a crucial component, and it can lead to a lot of success and a lot of money if you give it the attention that it really deserves.
I tell you that, and that's a whole nother ball of wax there. But I noticed when we first started our CPI, things are great, right? And then all of a sudden you have a claim and you're like,
I'm done. Get me out of here.
How do I operate a claim? So it's a whole other business. You got to figure it out. And then you have to start moving the chess pieces there. Well, I've got to go get some body shops that can help me here because I can't do it all on my own. I've got to make sure it gets towed here, gets out of storage there. I got to get the deductible. It's all these things. And we have to make sure that every department we have is running like it's supposed to.
Yeah. And we just give it to like someone like, oh, hey, take care of that CPI thing. You hand it to your title clerk or your shop guy or like a lot tech, like, hey, handle that CPI thing. Like, no. Treat it like a business in your business, like what did it cost you? Maybe $3,000 a month to hire like a proficient, insurance administrator or claims administrator or, and it's that whole argument of like, well, are they going to collect $3,000 more in CPI for you because they're giving it attention? Probably. So they'll pay for themselves within 2 months. And then on top of that, your customers are happy. Your shop manager's not stressed out. Your manager's not stressed out. Your salesmen aren't pissed because, you didn't get a claim handled in time and now their customer bought somewhere else. So you really do have to spend the money to make the money, invest the money to make the money, so to speak.
Yeah. So Jeff, if I go to your dealership right now, what department is not performing well? You should know this. Like, and I'm asking everybody out there, but Jeff's going to be my guinea pig. Jeff, which department is it?
The first struggle we have, and I'd say our largest constraint is our recon department. Like we don't have the bays, we don't have the mechanics, we cannot crank out 50 cars a month, including an additional 5 to 15 to 20 customer, cars. So I need to get 40 to 50 recon done. Plus I need another, 10 to 15 customer cars. And I don't have the footprint for it. Can't figure it out. I don't know. What do I do?
Yeah. That is most people's problems. If you talk to any dealer out there, a guy walked up to me. I was at FIADA on Monday before this storm rolled in, and I just wanted to give a shout out to all you Florida dealers. You're in the midst of the crap right now, and we're praying for you. We're pulling for you. If you need anything, reach out to Jeff. Not just kidding. Reach out to both of us. Anything we can do to help you, we will. We'll try. And also the folks in North Carolina are still dealing with that garbage up there and their lack of government. Anyway, a guy walks up to me. He said, Luke, how many cars are you getting ready a month? I said, well, our goal is, anywhere from 40 to 45, because that's where we're aiming to sell, but we'll move that up in the next little bit. And he's like, well, how many techs you got? So I walk through and he goes, man, I just got a problem. I can't get my cars done. He said, I'll get 20 done 1 month and the next month it'll be 10. And so we start walking through it, and it's everybody's problem. And Jeff, you bring up a super important point. You can staff up to get recon hit right, and you can hit the recon numbers. But as soon as you have 3 warranty claims in 1 month that are large warranty claims, it throws a cog in the system because you drop everything to get to that warranty claim. And And so it's a real bear. And so right now, what I'm dealing with when you talk about
Mhm.
recon is our recon is finished. And guess what? We haven't had a lot of warranty claims this month. So guess what happened to the production of my shop? It's
Yeah.
zero. I mean, it is ground to a halt. So
Yeah.
I'm paying people to stand around, but I'm okay with
Hmm.
that. I'm okay with people being paid to stand around. So what we're doing is we're cleaning the shop. Where any projects that we have left over, we're going to get those knocked out because I know as soon as these hurricanes wash out of Florida, and I wait about 2 or 3 more weeks to hopefully those washed out cars get out of Florida, then
Wait for
I'll
them to dry out.
get ready, wait for them to dry out. Then we'll start buying hard again. But I'm gonna be at a month where I'm gonna lose money in the service department.
Hmm.
But I'm okay with that because I know that if I reduce my staff right now, come come November, December, January, February, March, April, I'm gonna be out of luck and I'm not gonna be able to produce what I need.
That's a wild problem to have. I can tell you in 15 years, I've never not had 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks worth of shop work backed up. Maybe during COVID, for a small time, we got down to like
Yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah.
But I've never, that would be such a good feeling, to be honest with you, to have mechanics show up on a Thursday or Friday and just be like, you guys are done for the week. Let's clean the shop. Let's do some other stuff. You know, that would be wild.
We're on a weekend, we're on a week and a half of it. The last time we had it was March of 2020.
Yeah, that's insane to me. It's good. It's good because that means you're good on your turn time. You're buying the right amount of cars that you can recondition, that you can get to the front line and keep. And it should be a really tight cycle, right? I mean, I should never have 2 months worth of work sitting back there for my mechanics. Like that's just a waste of money. I know that. I
Another,
should
and so
just in
Jeff,
time inventory.
just in time inventory. And the one clog I do have right now is in detail, but we're fixing that. But and Jeff, if you ask me the same question right now, and it's probably everybody's feeling this right now, it's collections.
Hmm.
Collections, my collection department typically is really good. Um,
Hmm.
and the last month and a half has just been our main metric, cash collected to percentage of projected and promise to pays. Our promise to pay percentages for the last 60 days has run about 8% lower than it normally has.
Hmm.
And it's just been a bear. It's been a real bear. And I finally yesterday called in my HR manager and we kind of sat there and we talked about it. And we noticed that one thing I was expecting my head hardcore collectors to do, they had stopped doing. Um,
Oh,
so it was really on me. And so by having that meeting with my HR, and I let her talk to the collections girls because I don't speak to them probably in the best way sometimes. I come across a little harsh. Well, why the hell aren't you doing this?
go figure.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll tell me why the hell they aren't doing it is because, well, you didn't tell me to do that. You told this other person to do that. And so
Mm-hmm.
having communication that flows down the right direction, I'm able to say, hey, can you just let them know this is what they should be doing to make sure those promise to pays actually convert? And they need to
Yeah.
be converting at this goal. We all know this, but we haven't been doing it. So hopefully
Yeah.
that'll fix my problem.
Yeah, and as a side note, if anyone out there has excess collector capacity and specializes in IDMS, give me a holler. I would love to. I have one full-time collector, and I'm at the size where I probably need another part-time to help them out. But I don't want to hire someone. I don't want to train them. In fact, I might just love to outsource my entire collections department to somebody in freaking Mexico or Thailand that just specializes in IDMS. That would be amazing. Solve all of our problems, right?
It
But
would.
and bonus if they handle Blytzpay, you know, to find
Got to
that
have
collector
Blytzpay
that
to get that money.
specializes in it. Yeah. And that's what we do. And that's one of the biggest things is you don't want to have a constraint on your customer, right? If it's hard for them to make their payment, they won't make their payment, right? If it's difficult, we just got launched with our cash network. So I'm really excited to see how that pans out. I'm doing some test accounts first to make sure that, I fully trust it and I know the cycle of money. But to be able to let my remote customers pay cash in their neighborhood, in their community, not have to come all the way back to my dealership, that's going to be huge for my Latino market, right? Because so many are cash payers and they have to come all the way to my dealership and make their payment. That's hard for them. They don't have that kind of time when I'm open, right? So in this situation, they can take a quick lunch break, run over to the Dollar General or the Dollar Store or Walmart and make a cash payment directly into my account. So it's a cool deal. I'll update you guys once I get that fully up and running with Blytzpay. But Luke, let's transition. So we've identified the issue. Mine is recon, yours is collections. Now, what acronym in Tim's little chart there was it was focus, right? And that's where us as the dealers, we know, and you mentioned it in what you just talked about, Luke, you know what that collector should be doing. You thought they were doing it. You stopped focusing on the issue. It got off track. And now you have to go back in and laser focus on that issue, retrain, figure out what process is broken, figure out what software provider you have that isn't working, figure out which one you have that they're just not working it right. And maybe you've got some major decisions to be made that unfortunately your employees can't go buy a new vendor. They can't go get a new software. They can't reinvent the wheel. In fact, you don't want them to. So they're going to work on this wheel. That's not a good one until you go in there and say, whoa, guys, who didn't tell me that this was a completely broken process? Let's fix this. So it's on us, the dealers, to get in there, right?
Yeah, it was as simple as this, Jeff. We had hired another dealership assistant, and that dealership assistant was put in charge of making sure that they were reaching out to the promise to pays to convert those. And that person was only texting them. And the rule is this: you text them once in the morning, you text them once at 2 o'clock, and then who still hasn't converted, the head collector gets on the phone for the rest of the day and gets those collected. We forgot to do that last part. She thought that because she had somebody who was assisting her, that she could just put it on them. Well, we all know that's not enough. And now she was using that time to catch up on some other work she had. But now she understands that, after 2 or after 3 o'clock, she's picking up the phone and calling.
Yeah, that's a high priority. And that's what, I put my nose back in the shop and I said, guys, we can't get more cars out because we're not building more tickets. Like I only see 2 cars worth of parts here. Like, what are these guys supposed to be doing if they only got 2 cars with buckets of parts waiting for them? Like, we got to build more tickets and we have to use more overflow shops, right? It's okay. Like, we can use some overflow shops. It's what we have to do because we're constrained with size. I'm okay with that. Why are we not? Oh, well, these guys want to charge too much and these guys are backed up and these guys, just find new ones, find new ones. They want to charge us $100 an hour. That's fine. Just do it. Right. So they needed me to come in and kind of open their eyes and say, hey, I know you thought that this is what we were supposed to be doing, or you've decided that there's some constraint, but I'm saying no constraints. Here's the ultimate goal. Let's get this done.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Guys, hopefully this was helpful for you. It's so basic. Like Luke said, it's whack-a-mole. I mean, duh. We all know that it's whack-a-mole, right? But actually get in and tactically handle it because we're the owners and we know that's the best thing for us to do. That's the hard part, right? It means you got to get in the weeds. You got to understand the process, figure out where it's broken, reinvent it, retrain on it. Hopefully you're putting it all in your policies and procedures manual so it doesn't just revert back to bad habits, but getting in there and really assessing it.
Yeah, it's frustrating, Jeff. You have a business and you just want to set it and forget it. That's not what we're here for, guys.
Good work.
Read your books, get knowledgeable, get inside every department you have and fix it.
Talk to you guys next week.
Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review. We'll catch you in the next episode.